There's two that comes out here. One is about communication and the other is about the new moon intention. So the intentions and what are you communicating about? Mercury and new moon. This might be in your chart somewhere. Mercury might be there. Followed by the number 19 as well as 36 here. These numbers may speak to you in some way, shape or form. Within this, we're also able to have a look and see on an energetic level that there's definitely a focus on perhaps either an air sign. It could be a few places in your chart. If you know where your Mercury placement is, this is for you then. As part of the collective, then in all cases you'll know that this is not for everybody, but for some. If this is for a cross watcher, then this may be for you as well, or for those that are in contact with you as the people that are connected to the collective as well. In terms of the new moon, we'll also see what the new moon brings in, and this could be one that comes forward to us or one that we have just transitioned from, which means we're looking at the window period here. Let's have a look and see. You're seeing the first card that comes out here says magic and sorcery, or the division between the two ideas, whether it is magical or could it be sorcery. Is it something that is on a deeper spiritual level for you, a magical path in your life? Or is it for someone that's focusing on the actual understanding of the spiritual practice of what is the source from within, your power? You know, what is it that you've inherited? If you look at the images here, you'll see that both are in expectation of where they require their magical power from, or their wisdom in such a way. Whereas some are having to use certain things to actually acquire the power to help them to go forward. In other words, you're looking at an understanding here of perhaps people that are focusing on things that may need to be done on a physical level to get a spiritual impact in their life. What is it about this magic and sorcery that we need to see here for the collective? We got the gusto of air, number 1, which is, as you know, in tarot, which I'm assuming many of you are familiar with tarot, is an air sign again. So this may emphasize the mercurial element of communication. So there's a lot of talking about what is specifically your power. What is it that you need to learn to communicate, or what communicates with you? And we see here negotiation of metal, number 2, which is part of perhaps Libra, or the scales of having to overweigh or weigh up what is to be done on a physical level, and can it actually contribute to your deeper understanding of your life path. We see materiality here on the feminine side, the masculine and the feminine side, and then the heart of the matter between these parts here. We're seeing that for some, there might be a focus on having to actually apply certain perspectives of truths, of natures that would require the ability to establish a seed that needs to be grown in the material life. For some of you, you may encounter people that are perhaps very focused on the materiality around you, and that this definitely relates to what the intention is with regards to setting certain things in place. In other words, let's have a look and see what are these intentions that are being set in place. You're seeing there's an action of justification that has to come through. There's old ways that seem to be coming in for some that may be impacted by that, where your ideas are perhaps judged in a particular way. Perhaps it's being judged harshly or unfairly. Can we see on the magic and sorcery here? What is it for the collective to see? There is relation here called Quake of Earth, number 6, which is a material or earth card that suggests that the earth might need to be might feel the impact of certain spiritual development that's taking place. This could very much relate to that comet that might be coming through. There's a lot of people that are doing all kinds of things to try and utilize the energy, since it's all very impact driven. I'm also sensing that there might be people that are actually putting a lot of focus on their families as well. And there seems to be a very strong focus on that, bringing these things in place. Focus on the family, I hear that. Can we see a little bit on the quake of earth here? You're seeing inspiration or influences wherever it may fall. The intentions that are being set in place here may be inspirationally driven. They might serve in a particular good way, or perhaps in a way that might make you feel like you have to rethink on certain things in your life. And then there may be some things that might be causing influences in your life, forces that you feel might be out of your control, that might actually impact a greater group of experiences or events in your life. They might impact these events in your life, such as perhaps the ability to earn or to look for something that brings you truth on a spiritual level, followed by the mother of fire, which is suggesting here wands, if you want to really look at that. However, this deck is not a tarot deck. It is a metaphysical deck, a deck on metaphysics as a science. So you're looking at the deck as really a type of information that explains the realm and its dynamics on a metaphysical level. So that's just for some of you that need to know that, why the deck is so different than any other deck. And this is my deck that I've created, just so that you know. What is it about materiality that we need to see here, and why does it need to be justified? Well, this came out rather quickly. Father of metal. Could be someone on a legal system, or the material or the money system, which is coins or metal. And there seems to be a legal requirement to bring the information into place. There's a lot of talking about putting certain monetary things into place, which may either empower or alter the way that you earn income. Perhaps this may be for someone. I'm hearing MIT. This might be related to someone who is at MIT, maybe studying there, maybe learning about robotics, perhaps artificial intelligence. That seems to be something. Can we see a little bit on the father of metal here? There's a slow, silent waking up, rekindle of fire. Someone's father might be trying to make contact with them. Perhaps this may not be a father. Perhaps this may be a company of some nature. This might be your leaders of your country or your countries that is trying to influence the material monetary systems. For some of you, you are focused on the worldly events. So this is why the information might come strongly in that way as well. So everything in the reading, though it may be a book of the reality in which everyone plays a role in, certain parts of the natures of these archetypes come through stronger, which indicates the nature of the community that I'm dealing with when I'm doing this reading. Can we see on the Mother of Fire here, why is the fire strong? It seems to be moon here. The moon, as you know, is indicative of things that are being done on a spiritual level, perhaps things that are hidden from the eyes that are perhaps observing. You are reminded to be quiet in your actions if you believe in bringing certain things forward that would benefit you on a greater scale for now in this way, because there appears to be a lot of interest and focus on that. Can we see what that message is about? seems to be allegory of earth here. So if you're going into quiet practice mode, that I think is what is coming through more so, your spiritual nature of going in within yourself, knowing thyself, which is related to the meaning of your truth of your spirit, mind, body, and soul. You are advised to go into meditation. Perhaps that might actually help you to transcend over the allegories of earth. And an allegory is a story that is made up by narratives or belief systems in which people give a consensus to. So if the allegory of earth in this way relates to everyone's probably going to, this is just a story as an example, may actually relate to people that believe that they might get raptured, or they might be affected by some impact by this comet that might be turning over, or aliens that might visit, or that the belief system or the narrative is about ideologies that have to be enforced, like new religions or wars or whatever the case may be. You are advised to go within so that you do not give too much stock to these stories, since this is a way in which the nature of the reality or the realm in which you find yourself in is clearing itself out. So all of these things will come to the surface. And within this, new contracts in terms of setting up new ideas, new reality building, that seems to be coming through as well. For some of you, you might be involved in perhaps applying some sorcery in terms of wanting to manifest a particular reality for yourself. In this case, it might be difficult because the Oracle deck suggests that it is about inner communication and the intentions, really. But then again, that is part of the nature of the allegory of Earth, which a lot of people are desperate to do certain things, to make certain changes happen. There's above air vices here, coming back to the masculine point of view, which means there's a lot of talking and a lot of thinking on things that are establishing new ways of inventions. Perhaps those things are coming through as well. Can we see a little bit more on this? This one, serving of water over this area, this pillar of your reality, your masculine aspect, whether you're male or female, suggesting that you may have to learn to apply to soften the idea of, instead of forcefully trying to enforce an idea into the reality, you may have to do this a little bit gentler, so that you're able to understand in the way that the nature communicates back with you. This is for someone specific, not for everyone. Please do not take it all to heart. This is not for everyone, but for only those that resonate with it. Going forward here, we're seeing the novice here. Perhaps there might be someone that's trying to learn how to become a magician or a sorcerer, because that is the next thing that they feel they have the most power in. Is this possible for the novice to learn how to understand this? The energy comes up, miracles on air. Miracles cannot be manufactured. They happen when you are in the right space, within your space of your mind, body, soul, and spirit, when you're in a softer position, as suggested here, within the heart space. And in this way, the miracle on air is really the saving grace that kind of brings the whole thing together. Let's see a little on the miracle on air here. Broken mirror. Miracles on air, as I said, are not man-made. They are not manufactured, but they are supernatural. They come from a space that is in the supernal level of your existence, and that breaks down the illusions or the mirrors of ideologies that might be used to present certain stories for people to believe in. Remember, I said allegory is really a narrative or a belief system of a certain kind of degree or image, or a picture of how the world should be, when you're looking at the way that the nature of the system is presented, like there's a lot of people that are so oppositional with regards to the events that have taken place, the political events specifically. Everyone seems to be praying for a miracle. Let's see a little on the broken mirror here. We have the Son of Water, which suggests very strongly that even though there's a focus on trying to bring in a new idea that would make sense to someone, it could be like an Elon Musk type of scenario where he's trying to create a robot and says to everyone, I've just created a robot, and actually it means that it's that you're all going to suffer under the robot's control. It's just a narrative story that I'm telling you to explain a theory here. And within the next breath, his ideas to create this disturbing news for everyone in the world, it kind of backfires, because this is what the Son of Water means here, is the intention was to scare people, but it's kind of failed because people are becoming aware of the supernal logos of the spirit that is within each and every one of you, that you are able to override all of these things. Some of you are finding your natural ability to bring in your spiritual gift, which I can feel some of you may, like I said to you, Mercury is the announcer of communication and the intention through which the communication must be done, and that would be the lesson for some of you to just take note on. Can we see going forward here? It seems to be Midsummer Night Fire, which is wands, as I said, where there is definitely a focus on a birthing of a new way of understanding how the spirit operates or communicates through nature, through the nature of humanity and the nature of the reality in which you exist. Venus is the archetype for the birth that takes place, and in that way is also the soul, which leads you to the card that fell out, wholeness within the self, which is really the state of natural balance from within. And in that way, there will be perhaps some of you that might split away from the conventional way of understanding things. I mean, this is why this channel exists. It's not conventional, so it's not for everyone. It's completely unique, and the information doesn't mean that the information is not correct or incorrect. It means that the information is understood in a different way and presented in a much bigger perspective. Like I said, every reader in the world is unique to his, her way of reading, and this should be no exception. Can we see the outcome going forward over this period of time? Because there seems to be a focus on this period. The outcome is initiation of water, so there may be some people, number one, that will listen to a lot of things, and there will be people that will not listen to the mainstream information. And there will be people that will become brave, and they will step out of their confined spaces, and they will try to become more focused on how to give guidance to people. You will be a leader in your own community, is what I see here, and you will stand up and speak your truth, and it will be understood by many who will drink of that water that you will communicate through to those that are around you. And you may even be the oldest person in your family even, and even in that way you may find that you are in that position where you are able to set new things in place. Can we see the baseline or the final sort of understanding of the entire reading? Is the star, which means this might find you in a way that you are hoping to have been finding it, to give you support to understand, Father of Earth, the nature of how the earth communicates along with the things that are impacting, and this means on your spiritual mental state. You may be understanding that you are an old hand at understanding how the earth communicates with you. You may be someone who walks in nature. You may be someone who is cultivating a new way of understanding things. You may be someone that is bringing your community together, and perhaps you've struggled to do that for a long time. And it also suggests here that there are some people that are gonna definitely break away from some groups. There may even be people that might leave this channel. It is suggesting that that which is moving away from the support structure is in the direction in which they have to follow for themselves, and there will be others that will come into that space and will replace that energetic field so that it becomes a whole system. In other words, a whole system within yourself. So everything on the external has an impact on the internal, and that which is on the internal has an impact on the external. But it means that you have to have the application of a whole state of mind so that you understand that you have both parts within you, both the masculine and the feminine and the heart, to understand and how to convey yourself forward in your life path. I will leave this with you. This message was definitely unique for some of you. Please leave a comment down below or an emoji just so that the community can actually grow in this. Thank you.